Welcome to this special edition of VCU InSight. I'm Sue Johnson.
And I'm Brandon Agee. Thanks for joining us as we show off work from documentary students in the VCU School of Mass Communications. Tonight, we begin with how some stories are so inspiring that they just need to be heard.
Our first story captures the trials of 3 disabled athletes who use sport to enrich and shape their lives.
More than 50 million Americans report having some level of disability. Their perseverance serves as a message to many that, despite their obstacles, their potential is limitless.
I'm tired of trying in the firing line. You'll tell me, don't worry, it's just hard sometimes.
Tibia familia is where the shin bone, or the tibia, for Joseph, it's his right leg, it was missing, and in the left leg it was a ½ inch approximately too short.
He was very happy. He was a very happy kid.
He very much the toddler, very happy, very pleased with everything he did.
He would cradle his leg before the amputation. It was a part of him. And when it was amputated, he was pretty angry. He thought, I think, that he was going to wake up with a leg, a different leg. And when that didn't happen, he was angry. But we worked through it.
Plain and simple, spina bifida is a split spine. So her spine's like a zipper. And it kind of came unzipped at a certain point where her spinal cord and her nerves were able to come through the opening in her spine and outside of her body. So when she was born, there was literally a hole in her back and her spinal cord was outside of her back. I like to talk about Emma as, instead of disabled, as differently abled, because there's not anything she can't do, she just does it differently. So she can, everything can be adapted or worked out to where she can do everything. She can still dance, she can.
I'm busy dancing right now.
She'll be able to do all the sports. Sometimes we just have to do it differently, so, which actually I think makes her a lot stronger person.
This is one of the last pictures that was taken of me before the car accident.
We were driving down a real narrow country road, and we went into a curve that had a pothole that I didn't know about, and the truck veered off the road, went through the ditch, and rolled over. I know at least once that I can remember, because it happened within a flash. I pretty much immediately knew that I had broken my neck because I couldn't move my legs.
When I go out, people stare at me a lot, but I don't really care. Sometimes I just wish they would ask me instead of just staring. I can't really go fast with my leg on. I can go faster without it on.
Now, riding a bike was one thing too, because he had a prosthesis with a knee that you couldn't really control it. He never really learned how to ride a bike. And we tried, but we just couldn't get the knee to move right for the bike. So I guess he kind of missed out on it.
I specifically was told, God doesn't love babies like that, who have issues. And I guess that's the most challenging, is there's still those misconceptions out there and ignorance.
care.
Ready? Are you gonna
the
help
care
me?
for her defect is astronomically
What is this?
costly.
Right when she turned 2, about 10 days after her 2nd birthday, she got her G-tube. Hers is called eosinophilic esophagitis because white blood cells attack her esophagus. And so due to that, she never ate. It's very time consuming for her, so she really has to, sacrifice a lot of time for her care. You know, we have to do all that, so her routine is very long and very demanding of her and all of us.
Pretty much I've learned everything from scratch, from writing your name, because when I had the accident, it affected my hand strength. And I had to learn to write my name, learn to brush my teeth, everything from scratch. I just learned things, how to do things differently than I was doing before. I didn't think that I would be accepted by people. I didn't think I was going to find anybody to date. I didn't think that there would be anyone that would want to, deal with my situation the way that, it needed to be. So it was kind of scary at first.
Swimming pretty much just made me fit. Before I was really, really skinny, but now I've gotten some muscle tone.
When he first started, he was kicking both legs just as hard, the same, but he was kind of fading off a little bit, not going in a straight line, so we had to kind of compensate for that.
I would kind of hit the wall a bunch of times on my backstroke and start bouncing off each side of the lane on my backstroke. And my butterfly would be very, very awkward because I didn't have like any kick at all, so I was really slow with that.
And when he was close to turning 9, Brad said, we don't really need to be doing lessons anymore. I want you on my team.
He's gone from being able to swim for safety to being able to compete with regular, able-bodied, full non-amputees.
For me, it's really important for her to do sports because she gets to, for one, it's really good exercise for her. But then I have her in 2 different environments. She does tennis, which is the wheelchair sport, so she can see other adults in wheelchairs. Because there's times I think she thinks that she's going to grow out of it. When she gets bigger, she's going to be able to walk, and so she knows that, being an adult in a wheelchair is okay, and so she can participate with that. And then I have her in dance where there are actually no other disabled children in her dance class, and so she can just participate with other girls and just be a kid.
Roaring, you growl like a lion.
And she got in one of those tennis wheelchairs and just started hitting the ball. She's just been driven in sports ever since.
I had no idea that that I was athletic. I didn't put that title on myself, but there was a tennis coach there that said that I had a natural ability, that I had no idea that I could play tennis. So he really encouraged me to get involved and to start playing tennis, and love it.
The feelings I get from watching her play sports is it's almost like I don't know, very proud, very happy to see her out there doing that stuff. She's breaking out. She's approaching other people about athletics, about wheelchair sports and stuff like that. So she sees the benefit on her end, so she's trying to project that onto other folks as well.
We're not, just stuck on the sidelines. We can actually participate, and that there's different ways that we can participate in different sports. So it has definitely opened up a whole new world to me, and I'm still learning today.
He just wants everybody just to look at Joseph as Joseph, not Joseph as the guy with half of one leg.
I joke about my disability all the time, and they shouldn't have sympathy.
You are who you are, and you do what you do. And it doesn't matter. You're still there doing it. You're still trying.
Do not quit. do not quit at all. That's the worst thing you can do. Because at the beginning you may not be good, but if you quit, you'll never know if you're going to be better in the future or not.
But it's good. I think the best part is that she's able to be an average 4-year-old. So she has all the attitude and all the personality that it makes it all, I think, a little bit easier.
And when I first started out, I had no idea what I was going to do. It's a lot different now than I thought it was going to be. It's evolved as I've gone through different chapters of my life. It is evolved. I've had so many doors open to me now. I feel a lot more limitless.
In the past, opportunities for disabled athletes outside of organizations like the Special Olympics were extremely limited, but not anymore.
In Richmond, an organization called Sportable offers 13 adaptive sports, ranging from track to kayaking. Get more information at www.sportable.org.
Our special documentary edition of VCU InSight continues now with a body of water that, for Virginians, means good food, good times, and a special connection.
But over the past few decades, the almost 200-mile Rappahannock River isn't as healthy as it used to be. Turns out, there's something everyone can do to help.
Because when it comes to the Commonwealth's rivers, no one wants to see dead waters.
Well, I crabbed when I was a kid with my father, 50 years ago. Oh, we could set, 2 or 3 pots off the dock and catch enough for the family to feed on and eat for a weekend.
Well, when I grew up, we had what was called, or still is called, water view. And I could go to sleep at night and look out my window and see the Rappahannock and certainly different phases of the moon. I mean, it just sparkled. And the sun, it's like diamonds on the water. And there's just something deep and satisfying and peaceful about the river.
Well, I think back to when I was a kid, really, which is when I was really crabbing a lot, and that was actually in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, okay? And we used to spend our time in a little 12-foot boat, and we could go out and scrape pilings for crabs and come back with a bushel of nice jimmies in an hour and a half. And nowadays, you just don't see that happening. Well, the mission of Friends of the Rappahannock is to be the voice and the active force for a healthy and scenic Rappahannock River. And the reason we say voice is because the river doesn't have a voice of its own. Someone needs to speak for it.
I always liked to say when I went to school and things that I lived on the healthiest river in the state of Virginia. But what I never knew until I worked for Friends of the Rappahannock is that it really isn't the healthiest river in the state of Virginia. We have the largest dead zone, which is caused by nitrogen, phosphorus, and sediment.
The nitrogen is really, really bad because it creates those algae blooms. And so if there's too much algae in the river and in the bay, that's algae pollution. And then when it dies, it will create the dead zones where there's no oxygen. So it's not even just the blue crabs that can't survive because they don't have oxygen, but all of your shellfish on the bottom will suffocate, all of your plant life will suffocate. Like nothing can live without oxygen.
Depleted oxygen winds up coming into that area it could possibly drift over into an area where you're crabbing at. So there has been some problems. I've pulled pots that's been dead as a doornail. I have a whole pot chock full of crabs and they're all dead.
We catch our most dead crabs in this area right here. And I don't know if it's because of the marina or the flow of the water, but for some reason they don't live as well over here.
Nitrogen and phosphorus come from fertilizers, animal waste, human waste, wastewater treatment plants. It comes from a variety of sources, fertilizer being one of the biggest ones.
But what the scientists have shown us is that spring fertilization, while it kind of seems intuitive, plants are growing, time to give them fertilizer, it actually ends up with a lot of that fertilizer being washed away in spring rain. Yeah, the Chesapeake Club was really built for groups just like us. You know, they put together the resources for Save the Crabs and a lot of the PR material and did all the focus groups on the interesting, fun, quirky little ads that you see on the TV.
Spring rains carry excess fertilizer to our sewers and rivers. It travels to the Chesapeake Bay where blue crabs have been rapidly disappearing. They suffocate slowly from lack of oxygen. No crab should die like this. They should perish in some hot, tasty, melted butter. So hold off on the fertilizer until fall, because ridding the planet of delicious backfin is just plain wrong.
The goal for the Save the Crabs program is to reduce the nutrient load. We use the blue crabs to get people's attention because, like I said, it's about the nutrient load, it's about the fertilizer, it's about the health of the river. But people aren't really going to care about it because it's out of sight, out of mind. But if you like to eat your blue crabs, that makes it more personal, and then they actually want to be involved in the campaign. And I think the slogan that the Chesapeake Bay Club created was great. Save the crabs and eat them. Because that really makes you think, and that makes people ask questions about it.
In the Northern Neck Peninsula, 90% of the farmers have nutrient management plans. And what I feel like a lot of people don't understand is that the farmer does everything that they can to save money, not waste fertilizers, and do what they need to do.
Many people don't understand that they typically think of farmers as plowing their land, and we just don't do that anymore. They say the Crab campaign is concerned about timing of fertilizer. I don't believe it applies to us. We do apply fertilizer in the fall. We just put down enough to get a crop established.
It starts at home. It starts with the homeowner. That is where the power is, with the people who don't even realize how big of an impact they're having on the river.
Living is about decision making and choices, and we all have those choices to make, and hopefully the choices like to just, if you do fertilize your lawn, to do it just in the fall, because people don't think as much in a city that their runoff is going to get into a river, but indeed their runoff gets into a river. It's like a domino. One thing affects, and then that's all crashing down. So we need to work on this together, all of us.
You know, we are by no means have the right to tell anybody what to do. It's something that a person needs to feel a connection to the river, to the crabs, really just to the population that we have and the economy that we have, and they need to take the pledge themselves to make a difference.
We got 243 pledges this year. And with each pledge, that keeps 3.5 pounds of fertilizer out of the river. This year we kept out about 850 pounds of nitrogen and phosphorus.
I think it's an admirable goal because that symbolizes, saving the crabs symbolizes saving all the bay and all the fauna and the life that lives in the water. And the river itself means so much to me.
It's about making that commitment to your grandchildren or your great-grandchildren that one day you want to see the crabs and you want to have the same experiences that you may have grown up with.
Overall, if we can get the crab population up and keep it up and bring it back, I would love to see it back to the levels that they were at when I was a kid.
My goal, my personal goal would be that we have a healthier river and certainly a healthier bay and a healthier world. But I want us to be able to share this gift that we have, because I don't see that I really own this property. I see that it's just a gift and it's my time to have it.
Keep supporting the cause and just try to keep everybody educated on what's happening out here in our water. Try to keep this water healthy and clean.
Thanks for being with us for this special edition of VCU InSight. We continue now with encore editions of stories from our fall shows.
VCU saw some changes in 2012. Besides the university's move to the Atlantic 10 Athletic Conference, the school launched a new marketing campaign hoping to make a national splash. InSight's Diva Payne has our story.
The VCU men's basketball team played their way into the Final Four during the NCAA basketball tournament last spring, bringing Virginia Commonwealth University to the national stage. This fall, VCU launched its new Make It Real ad campaign, focused on making VCU a competitor in the higher education marketplace. The $500,000 campaign includes a new seal centered on VCU's history as a medical school turned university almost 175 years ago. The Make It Real campaign features real success stories from an array of VCU students. The Chief Communications Officer for VCU, Pam Lepley, says students embody the new slogan because they make their dreams a reality.
From being a medical student and going to Bangladesh and setting up an orphanage and a school, our students are phenomenal.
Over 30,000 students attend VCU, but only a handful are represented by the Make It Real campaign. Victor Haskins played his way into the spotlight by making a hobby his career here at the VCU School of Music. School officials gave Haskins a call to appear in the campaign after seeing his success in the Richmond jazz scene while still in school. Haskins credits VCU for his growth as a musician and believes VCU really does give students the tools to achieve their goals.
It's been great to be here at VCU and in Richmond, where I could be in a city where my growth is fostered by the community, which really is a community of musicians and people that make up Richmond.
The campaign can be seen all around VCU's campus, but a majority of the campaign is online. For VCU InSight, I'm Diva Payne.
The $500,000 image campaign is a first for VCU.
There's been lots of buzz about energy drinks lately, including some concern.
Young people say they like their effects, but health officials say that all that energy comes with serious risks. InSight's Martha Brickey has more.
Lauren Girardi is a full-time VCU student who works 2 jobs. With her schedule, she relies on the energy drink Red Bull to get her through.
I do work 2 jobs and I'm a full-time student at VCU. So I'm very busy, so the extra boost of energy really helps.
Although these drinks are often used to boost energy, experts say the side effects can be dangerous, causing anxiety, cardiac arrest, and even death. Recently, a lawsuit was filed against Monster energy drinks when a 14-year-old Maryland girl died after drinking their product. Vending machines like this one here on campus are just one way students can get these energy drinks. However, how heavily do students rely on these products? Director of VCU's Wellness Resource Center, Dr. Linda Hancock, has been tracking energy drink usage on campus. She has found there are typically 2 types of students who use the products.
I got my work hard, use caffeine drink group. I have my party hard, use caffeine group, but they're still the minority of all my students.
In fact, according to her research, only about 15% of VCU students use energy drinks. Despite being in that 15%, Girardi understands the caution she should take while drinking energy drinks.
It's good in moderation. Like if you drink them excessively, like all the time to the point where you become dependent on them, then yes, I think there's a problem.
A problem that some believe could lead to risky results. For VCU InSight, I'm Martha Brickey.
Love them or hate them, people seem to love their energy drinks. Beverage Digest says energy drink sales were up 17% in 2012.
And finally tonight, the sights and sounds of VCU's basketball tradition. The pep band, the Peppas, and the student section, the Rowdy Rams, keep visiting teams busy and fans on their feet.
InSight's Scott Wyant takes a closer look and listen.
First off, when they start their song, they get a little in the mood. They like start singing along, dancing with tubas, or getting a little, whatever they're doing, to get everybody, you know, into it.
I wanted to be known as a performer, I guess, you know, an extra thing for the game. I want people to not only come to watch the sport, but to come to watch the pep band.
Best because we're all down and sad, but they play, it gets hype. Everybody loves them, and the energy just comes out of nowhere. And if they're hype, we're hype, and then the players get hype, and then it's so exciting. Best environment ever. I mean, they have about the team, the fans, the coaches, everybody. Everybody loves them, and it's the best thing ever.
VCU InSight. I'm Scott Wyant.
VCU's pep band, the Peppas, recorded their first CD in November 2011.
It features 10 tracks and any pep band member who wanted to be on it.
And that's going to do it for this special edition of VCU InSight.
Don't forget to check us out online at insight.vcu.edu. I'm Brandon Agee.
And I'm Sue Johnson. Thanks for watching. Good night.